Here.
Mr. Kim, Paul Kim, Mr. Bruno,
Here.
Mr. Donovan,
Yes.
Ms. Lang, Mr. Jason Kim,
Yeah.
Mr. Madison,
Here.
Mr. Rotundo,
Here.
Mr. Wu,
Here.
Mr. Savio,
Here.
Dr. Cirillo,
Here.
Mr. Barbarone.
Here.
In compliance with the Open Public Meeting Act, Chapter 213, PL 1975, I hereby state that adequate notice of this regular meeting has been provided to the public by written notice dated May 12, 2016. The meeting notice has been posted on bulletin boards located inside buildings and in the Board of Ed building, communicated to at least one board-designated newspaper, filed by the Borough Clerk of Palisades Park. We have minute approvals for August 24th and September 21st.
Make a motion to approve. Second it.
Any discussion?
I would just like to discuss one thing. I will be approving the minutes of the meeting, and I understand that certain things may come up from time to time that may change a date on a resolution that we have approved. But we need to make sure that resolutions that we approve during meetings are exactly what we then approve when we do the minutes, regardless of what the change is. So moving forward, I will not approve any changes to the minutes that are sent to us if they're not in the proper resolution that we did at the meeting. So that's just going forth from this point forward.
Mr. Barbarone, do you have an opinion on that?
With regard to it, and I'm assuming we're speaking about this, the meeting of the November 7th to 9th date, or in a resolution.
No,
Here
the
you gotta-
meeting of August 24th, where a teacher was
To
coming back
return
on the
from-
9th, but then
correct.
decided she wanted to
Correct.
return on the 7th.
Resolutions are supposed to say specifically, I know this was somebody who wanted to come back, I guess, a day or two earlier.
2 days early.
And it's not fatal to a resolution. It's not something where you're hiring somebody who's just coming back a day too early. I think what you do in the future, and I am gonna go into closed session, we're gonna discuss a lot of things. We need to have it that, again, minutes do not reflect exactly everything that is done in a meeting. There's supposed to be a general consensus of what was going on, and you have the resolutions to back it up. It's very simple to make a little statement that says, although the resolution said this, subsequently the person decided to come back earlier. If you really wanted to make it correctly, you could always go back to the next meeting and say, okay, let's just amend that resolution and say, okay, we're gonna change it from the 7th to the 9th. Didn't happen that way, reflect it in the minutes, and you guys are all safe.
Right, so Rich, is it permissible then, like, if some situation comes up like this, at, say, this meeting, we were approving the prior minutes, we note the correction, and we approve the minutes as noted?
The way most districts do it, and I've had 15 in my career, and they've always done it that way, Howard. They'll sit there and say, I have one person in one of my districts who she will pick out everything one letter will be changed, and she'll know it. And what they do is they'll say, okay, I would like this change, and this change, and this change, and then people vote on, we're approving the minutes based upon the fact that's gonna be changed. Yes, that is the proper way you can do minutes.
I am so happy that everyone's reading the minutes now. Thank you.
Anything further?
Did that finish your roll call?
Under-
Diane, did that finish your roll call?
No roll.
We didn't do roll call.
You're doing 1 minute, you're doing the August 24th meeting first, or both meetings?
I think they did both.
We're doing both.
So you didn't do a roll call yet? That's what I'm asking.
No, I didn't.
No,
Okay,
we didn't.
okay. It was the first and second, so.
On both meetings?
Yes, they did it both at the same
Gary
time.
Johnson and John Madison,
Correct.
correct?
Yep.
Okay. Ms. Alvarez?
So now the only thing we wanted to make a note according to what Mr. Barbarone said was the number 8 on August 24th, number 8. There was the original said 11/9 of 16, and there's been a correction to 11/7 of 16. Okay? And the 21st, September 21st meetings, as they were emailed this morning, or this afternoon at 1:32, those stand corrected.
So what you vote?
Roll call?
No, she did, you're
I did,
up.
I called you.
Oh, sorry, yes.
Mr. Bruno?
Yes.
Mr. Donovan?
Yes.
Ms. Brown? Yes. Mr. Jason?
Yes.
John Madison?
Yes.
Anthony Rotundo?
Yes.
Jeffrey Glover?
Yes.
They all passed.
I have a lot of stuff to report. First of all, thank you, Dr. Cirillo, for providing the high school with 50 complimentary tickets to see the Red Bulls 2 win the 2016 USL Cup Finals at Red Bull Arena on October 23rd. And speaking of soccer, I am very proud of the high school boys 2016 varsity team. They've had a fantastic season. First time a Palisades Park boys soccer coach has won Coach of the Year. Congratulations, Mr. Chuck Segarra. Don't know if he's here. Mr. Segarra and Mr. Garcia led the team to great achievements. First time in 8 years with a winning league record of 8-7-2. First time in 8 years qualified as second seed in the Bergen Cup. They also qualified as first seed in the NJIC tournament, which they won over Weehawken. The game score was 4-0. First time in 7 years making to the states tournament. First time in 8 years Palisades Park has 4 players making the all-league team. First time in 9 years Palisades Park has a unanimous first-team league player. Wow, it's true. First time league all-player, David Valencia. He is the all-time lead goal scorer for the high school in the high school history with 33 career goals. Our congratulations to the coaches and the players for an awesome season.
You guys want to sit down?
Report of the superintendent.
I have a few items. Number one, there is a resolution that I need to submit to the Department of Education. I will read it. Be it resolved that the board, upon the recommendation of the superintendent, approves the submission of the New Jersey Quality Accountability Continuum. It is the QSAC report that is annually submitted. They are our SOAs and our DPRs, Statement of Assurances and District Performance Reviews, for the 16-17 school year. So I do need a resolution on that, please.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Ms. Alvarez?
Yes.
Mr. Bruno?
Yes.
Mr. Donovan?
Yes.
Ms. Wang?
Yes.
Mr. Jason Kim?
Yes.
Mr. John Madison?
Yes.
Mr. Anthony Rotundo?
Yes.
Mr. Jeffrey Welch?
Yes.
I do know that we did get another beautiful donation today from ExxonMobil. Lindbergh has been the recipient for many years, I guess, with that young boy moving up to the Palisades Park Junior Senior High School. Mr. Donahue and the high school staff gets a little bit of money to spend. So I thank Sal Nasser for that donation. I do know we need to go into closed session for bullying. And I would wish everyone a happy, safe, and relaxing Thanksgiving next Thursday.
Report of the board attorney.
I know report into a closed session.
Report of the committees. Finance, Mr. Matisich.
Before you, you have 7 resolutions. I received them and I checked them all out. I move on a consent agenda.
Second.
Any discussion?
Ms. Alvarez?
Yes.
Mr. Bruno?
Yes.
Mr. Donovan?
Yes.
Ms. Wang?
Yes.
Mr. Jason Kim?
Yes.
Mr. Madison?
Yes.
Mr. Rotundo?
Yes.
Mr. Welch?
Yes.
Buildings and grounds, Mr. Donovan.
Yes, in front of you, you have 2 resolutions for use of the school facilities. I move that the board approve both of them.
I second.
Any discussion?
Jeffrey, yes.
No discussion? Roll call.
Ms. Alvarez?
Yes.
Mr. Bruno?
Yes.
Mr. Donovan?
Yes.
Ms. Wang?
Yes.
Mr. Jason Kim?
Yes.
Mr. Madison?
Yes.
Mr. Rotundo?
Yes.
Mr. Welch?
Yes.
Personnel, Mr. Wu.
Yes, before you are 10 resolutions. I make a motion that we move on all 10.
Seconded.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Ms. Alvarez?
Yes.
Mr. Bruno?
Yes.
Mr. Donovan?
Yes.
Ms. Wang?
Yes.
Mr. Jason Kim?
Yes.
Mr. John Madison?
Yes.
Mr. Rotundo?
Yes.
Mr. Welch?
Yes.
Curriculum, Mr. Kim.
I have nothing to report this time.
Negotiations, Mr. Paul Kim. Mr. Jeffrey Wu.
Yes, I believe we set up a meeting for December 14th. That's the Teamsters. And then also we have our November 22nd, teachers' negotiation. Nothing else to report.
That mediation meeting will occur at the board office,
Board of Education.
Yes, Board of Ed, yeah.
and the other things that will be here.
Correct.
Policy, Mr. Rotundo?
We are doing the second reading on the novel that you guys were handed to. There are quite a few policies that need to be changed. This is the second reading.
Second.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Roll call?
Ms. Alvarez?
Yes.
Mr. Bruno?
Yes.
Mr. Donovan?
Yes.
Ms. Wang? Yes. Mr. Jason Kim?
Yes.
Mr. Madison?
Yes.
Mr. Rotundo?
Yes.
Mr. Wolf?
Yes.
PTA, PTSA, student activity, Ms. Wang?
I just wanted to mention a couple things. Breakfast for Santa is on Saturday, December 17th at the high school cafeteria, and it's sponsored by the senior class. Tickets are $10 in advance and $12 at the door. If you please contact senior class advisors, Lauren Perez and Debbie Young, also, there's going to be the holiday boutique, December 6th at the ECC, and December 13th to the 15th at Lumber. And these are tentative dates. And this is sponsored by the PTA, PTSA. There's also 2 resolutions for class trips in front of you. I make a motion to move on both.
Second them.
Any discussion? Roll call?
Ms. Alvarez?
Yes.
Mr. Bruno?
Yes.
Mr. Donovan?
Yes.
Ms. Wang? Yes. Mr. Jason Kim?
Yes.
Mr. Madison?
Yes.
Mr. Rotundo?
Yes.
Mr. Wolf?
Yes.
Calendar, Ms. Wang?
Nothing to report us.
Madam President, as far as calendar, I'd like to propose a meeting change next month in December. If it's all possible, instead of the 14th, because I think it creates conflict with some of the board members. Would appreciate it if you can change,
When you wanna change it to?
either maybe Thursday, the 15th, instead of the 14th, or December's meeting, or Tuesday, you know, if it's possible. If it's possible, if it can't, then I might not be able to make it, that's all. And I don't know if anybody else can make it.
I can't make the 14th.
Can everyone else make the 14th?
Yes.
You can make the 14th,
I
Carmen?
can make it.
I can't.
You can.
The 14th, I can't.
Okay, so do we have 5 people?
Well, you got 3 that can't make it, so we should have 7.
Oh.
Yeah.
The
No,
14th.
the
we're talking
14th, okay, the
about-
14th is the
14th is
original
not
date.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
that should be fine, I'm sorry.
Oh, okay, so we're good, we only
So
have
we're
2
okay.
people that can't make it on the 14th.
Correct.
All right, so then we keep it.
Okay, no problem.
School board, New Jersey School Board Liaison? Mr. Bruno?
No report at this time, Madam President.
Okay. Any old business?
Before we move on, I happen to be, I guess, asleep at the switch. We only approved the second reading. If you look on page 2, there's the first reading of several policies. We only voted on the second reading,
Okay.
and then it moved on before I could.
Sorry.
You do it now. So you need a second.
I'll second.
Same thing, Kenny Bruno, moved by Anthony Rotundo.
Okay. Any discussion on the first reading? Right.
You know the motion, right?
We did.
Yeah, the first resolution was on second reading, the second resolution is on first reading. Roll call?
Ms. Alvarez?
Yes.
Mr. Bruno?
Yes.
Mr. Donovan?
Yes.
Ms. Wang?
Yes.
Mr. Jason Kim?
Yes.
Mr. Madison?
Yes.
Mr. Rotundo?
Yes.
Mr. Wolf?
Yes.
Old business?
Kenny. John Madison, so John Madison. There's Connie and John.
Any new business?
Free for dinner. And you said yes, John?
All right, to open audience participation,
I'll make the motion.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Audience participation.
Dr. Stevens, can you give me word on the ESL
Can we,
trip?
can you just state your name, please?
Oh, I'm sorry, Elsa Vida.
Thank you.
I'm one of the ESL teachers at the high school. Did you receive word on the ESL trip?
Did I receive word?
Yeah,
I
the
received
paperwork?
documentation today with not yesterday afternoon without the proper signatures, so I could not push it forth.
So is there a chance it will be approved before the date, before December 8th?
Not tonight. They don't have a resolution before then, we have to reschedule.
Okay,
Sorry.
thank you.
I am Lee Musler.
Why don't you sit?
Sit.
Got bad Achilles.
I'll sit. I am Lee Musler. I work over at the high school. I'm part of our negotiating team. I'm not happy that it's come to the point where I'm up here addressing the board. All of us, the teachers, the board, everyone associated with the district, we shouldn't be where we are considering what we went through last time. But we're here, so now we gotta figure out where we're gonna go from here. Well, I'm gonna start with what I'm happy about. I was shocked at the end of June when the superintendent, he suggested and the board unanimously approved that all staff members would move a step on our guide, even if we weren't settled in September. So that was very cool and thanks. It made me believe that these negotiations would not go like past ones. It made me truly believe our Board of Education does support and cares about all of us, and I know you guys do. Since then, we met a few times. We haven't accomplished really anything. The biggest hurdle we all face is, I'm sorry to be so blunt about it, but the pay here stinks for pretty much all the teachers. I remember learning on the first day of school that our district had shot up the New Jersey rankings. That was also great to hear. But when you combine this accomplishment with the fact that our average pay is second lowest in the county, it loses some of its luster. No one in this room is really responsible for this poor pay situation we face. It's something that was built over many, many years. So now it's time for the teachers and our pro-teacher board to fix this problem. I was informed that at last month's meeting, it was said the teachers had been made an offer from the board and the offer was above the county average. At that time, I actually was kind of angry when I heard this because I haven't seen any formal offer in writing. But I have to be honest, from the conversations we've had in our sessions, I have a strong sense as to what the offer is. And I can assure everyone, it is certainly nothing like any of the lowball offers that have come from past boards. So what is the problem with this offer? Well, for one, at the bare minimum, we would not even be able to move all staff members one step each of the 3 years under this offer using our current guide. So this means that teachers like our union co-president, who've been here like 10, 11 years, she's making what a first-year teacher makes in a lot of the towns around us. So we'd be saying to her, we can't even move you 4-year steps for the next few years. We'd have to take some money off those steps to move you, while you got the same amount of money a 25-year-old kid a few towns over is making. That's not really the best way to thank her and the rest of the staff that has stayed here despite the embarrassing pay that we receive. And trust me, there's a lot of people in her boat. So obviously if there's not enough money to move the teachers 3 steps in 3 years, there's not going to be enough money to get to the top of the guide. Unless we cut some more steps, unless we cut some more money off the steps, or I guess freeze teachers for a year. So now we not only have teachers who've been here 10 years who are taking a hit, we have the super loyal teachers who have hung around here for 25 years with a low-paying guide that tops out much lower than surrounding towns, receiving a tiny raise, while our 10-year teachers are making less than some kid fresh out of college. This just isn't right. Not for a district like us that's on the rise, up the state rankings, seeing a huge jump in AP test scores last year. This isn't how we reward teachers. So now we've lowered the money on each step on a low-paying guide, moved teachers maybe 2 steps in 3 years. We've given the top of our guide a small raise. We have to worry about retaining teachers who come into a district with a really low starting salary. How do we retain these guys? We don't have any money to put on the early steps of the guide. We've already seen some younger teachers leave the district after a few years to make more money elsewhere. So we're mentoring young teachers so they can go share their talents elsewhere. This doesn't make sense to me. So now I think it's about time we start to change how things are done around here. We start paying teachers, we start rewarding those who have stayed here, we try to retain these new aspiring teachers, we start fixing this problem. So now we have mediation next week. All along I've been told that these negotiations won't be like last time. Unfortunately, it's starting to look a lot like last time. And quite honestly, I don't even want to talk about last time. When you go to mediation, things change. No one in this room, whether you're in the audience or you're sitting up front, ever wanted mediation. I spent the last many months preaching to fellow PPEA members that the board really cares about teachers. They value our efforts because really, I know everyone sitting up there really does. But saying you care and support teachers is one thing. Making an effort to have productive negotiations and try to compensate teachers who have been slighted for so many years is another thing. I have a million other things I want to say, but I think I made my point. In my opinion, I'm very lucky. I work with a staff that's like family. I have administrators who I'd run through a wall for, and we also have something that is quite rare. I believe we have a board who really does support teachers, but it will take some legwork. So I asked the board negotiating team, when it comes time to start making decisions in the now mediation room, you can be the person who continues all the negativity of the past negotiations, or you can be the guy who starts the ball rolling in the right way and setting a positive precedent for future negotiations. Thanks.
Anything else?
I only have one thing to say. I think we must be in different negotiating rooms, but understand something, and you did point it out. This board did agree. They did not have to increase. You guys were coming off the end of a contract where the law used to say, we could have froze you. We could have froze you until this contract was settled, which could have been 2, 3, 4, 5 years. We're not gonna do that again. They decided not to do that. The increase this year has already been 2.73%. By the way, county average is only a little less than 2.9. And when you look at the 2.9, look into what these people are paying more in contributions. You can't just look at a number of 2.9. You already got 2.73%, okay? Next year, that's gonna be about 3.2%. Following year, it's gonna be about 3.5%. Take that average, you're well over county average. I don't like doing this publicly, Lee, but you know what? We are not in a situation right now where you think that this is so dire. We're at the mediation because we all, including your side, agreed. Get a third party in here, and maybe that's the way we're gonna go forward. And I'm confident on this whole thing, and I've been telling you guys from the beginning, I'm confident on this, but give them credit that they did turn around. Because I said to them, you don't have to increase them. You can freeze them. Not as punishment, but that's what the law allowed us to do. Now, some districts, and you know many of them that did, and you've had your rep tell you that, a lot of districts did stay frozen and didn't move up, okay? They chose not to do that. So I am confident Tuesday is gonna be helpful. Are we gonna get it done that night? I don't know. But at the same time, we're moving forward, and I think that you've got a very good board, and the negotiating committee knows exactly what they can and can't do. Understanding, it's got nothing to do with whether they'd love to give you guys 8%. You know that.
And we'll take it.
I know you would. Really? But let's be realistic. You also got, 13,000 taxpayers in town who are gonna sit there and say, boy, you're not doing your job either. So it's a fine line, and we know that.
Right.
And we're gonna keep the dialogue positive. That's all I'm gonna say.
Rich, I totally agree with everything you said, and I think I highlighted a lot of those in what I
You
said.
did, and you did, and I appreciate that.
As
But I want the rest of the teachers and everybody in the public and some board members, because again, it's a committee right now, to understand that it is moving, in my opinion, in a positive way. And I'm doing this 30 years, and sometimes it's contentious, and the last one was one of the worst ones I've ever been to, unfortunately. But you know what? Eventually, we ended up getting something when we had other people come involved. Sometimes you need those neutral parties.
Kathy Doheny, co-president, I think he addressed all those points that he said that he thought the board was very supportive. But as we discussed at the last board meeting, you said to me that you suggested maybe that I was not as optimistic as I should be. But I have every intention of going in there next week totally optimistic. But I just just want to be assured that, like, we've met a number of times, that you've met as well, so that we can fully expect that we're going to make some progress. Like, we've talked on a number of occasions, and hopefully you've met too. So we're going in there optimistic that we're going to definitely make some progress. Because we've heard so many times before, and don't get me wrong, I think they're supportive, but that mediation was going to be like a formality. We didn't even really need to apply for that. But since we're here, we just fully expect that when we get to meet next week, that we have something to talk about. I think that's all he means.
And I'm not gonna waste your time, because I'm not gonna waste my time. I mean, I am positively thinking the same way, that we're gonna make some progress, and, you know, the mediators come in and look different ways. And also, just for everybody's edification, this is a very early period of time to get into mediation. Most times, boards meet with the teachers' unions 7, 8, 10, 15 times before you go to mediation. We all agreed that maybe that's the best way to do this.
Right, I agree.
So that's why I say stay optimistic. I mean, I think that things are eventually gonna work out, and I'm not gonna promise you they're gonna work out Tuesday night, but hopefully, maybe
Well,
they
we were
will.
hoping, remember, as we said at the last meeting, that it would be before the new year, because we don't want to go into the.
We didn't say which new year.
Right, exactly. But let's hope for, like, happy Thanksgiving for everyone, that we can report to them, who will be with us at that meeting, but outside,
Right.
that we've made some progress, because it's been a long road.
Yeah, it has to be.
Anything further? Closed session? All in favor?
I will.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Are you going to take any action that we need to wait on?
They need to vote on a couple of bullying cases, whether they affirm, modify, or reject. Other
But
than
that has nothing to do with us one way or the other, right?
Good night.
Thank you.
You don't have anything that's gonna need to come in?
And if you're not here, maybe I'll do it. No,
He's-
mine is
no.
not action.
Okay,
Happy
it says no
Thanksgiving,
action,
everyone.
so we're done.